Alrighty. Hey, what's going on? So I'm gonna get started in a couple minutes for uh, for what will hopefully be somewhat interesting for you, at least some good energy for you. I'll start kind of at a slower pace, and then maybe we'll pick up some steam or some speed as we go along. So for those of you watching this broadcast when it's not live, when it's on a replay, welcome. Feel free to skip ahead. There's gonna be maybe the beginning part here. I'm gonna be updating people on some very unusual experience I've had recently, and then I will be discussing some of the content in this book, Bringers of the Dawn, Teachings from the Palladians. So it has a flavor of channeled material. It's a book I have had a long time. Had a number of books on that type of category. I've read a number of different authors on that material early on that kind of opened my eyes to Ascension and stuff like that, New Earth kind of stuff. Years and years later, more of the information became real world, not so esoteric. Through hypnosis sessions, people with past life regressions, people having quantum hypnosis healing therapies, more and more clear channels. The energy in the world changed enough. So yes, so there's been a lot of information about the Ascension and the changes and these end times. If you have the ability to discern, because there's a lot of bullshit out there, so much bullshit out there. It's the time of this live broadcast will be conducive to a wider range of countries in Europe and Africa, because it is a bit early for maybe most of the U.S. But anyway, so. But I am working from home, so my lunch breaks are very scattered around. I have what I do is my job is to provide instruction and training for mental health professionals, direct care professionals, and sometimes nurses or therapists. I provide CPR instruction. So part of my job is to be a CPR certified instructor. I also teach restraints if individuals receiving services, individuals with disabilities, if you will, become unsafe. I help people understand how to not restraint is something that will be the last resort. If you've ever seen the news, restraints are bad news. So our specialty where I work is to help people be happy, be well, and if they're not well, how to help them without touching, so that there's no restraints. But if there is worst case scenario, how do you restrain safely so people don't end up asphyxiating on the news? Sorry, that's probably not an appropriate reference. Current events, sometimes I get unplugged from current events. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of division. But yes, these end times we're in, the 2012 time period that is now, there is a lot going on. The energy is something else. There's so much going on. All right, I'm going to talk about this experience I had. This is very, 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 very unusual. This will be the first time I'm really explaining it to anyone outside of maybe like one or two people. Okay. I was out on my patio. I live in an apartment. It's a nice apartment. I'm actually going to be moving into my first house soon. I grew up in houses as a kid, but as an adult, this will be my first house. Very excited. It's not 100% there yet, but it's getting closer. But anyway, so I'm out on my patio, and I'm trying to think about a way to sit in a relaxed way. Picture, you want to meditate or something, right? So I was not trying to meditate. I was just relaxing, right? And I wanted to put my hands out. So I put my hands out. Now you can picture maybe someone sitting Indian style with their hands kind of up like that. So anyway, all I did, what I'm doing is I'm breaking down detail for detail. I want to be as transparent as I can, as accurate and specific as I can, and articulate, to help be as honest and hopefully as highly informative as I can be. So this is what happened. So I had my palms up, right? And I started to feel a little bit of a tingly sensation. Honest to God, I felt a little bit of a tingly sensation. Yes, you can use mind over matter and maybe get itchy, or you might like you might yawn, sorry, or you get itchy, those kind of things. It's like there's a psychology to it. But I felt the tingly. It was kind of a stronger than just in your head. So like, that's interesting. I like this. And I had a thought about when I was first learning about crystals, quartz crystals, hematite. There's crystals are awesome, powerful. Actually, that's funny. See, like this is a recorder crystal, so it may or may not have information stored in it from long ago. But regardless, this is a very energetic. Crystals are very energetic, high frequency, super high frequency. There's a lot of things quartz can do. It can basically shadow or mimic your thoughts and feelings and project it out into the world at a very powerful rate. So it can be used for all kinds of stuff. So anyway, when I had my palms up and I felt tingly, I remembered when I was learning about crystals, I had Reiki done on me, severely sprained ankle. And my friend, his mom taught him. He had some ability to do Reiki. It worked. I was running on that ankle the next day like nothing. Even though it was like 5 times the normal size and all the colors in the rainbow. Yeah, it was wild. But anyway, he said he could feel the crystal vibrate in his hand. This was in 2000. So this is 20 years ago. 2000. I had kind of become quote unquote woke in a couple of years before that. 98 is when I had learned about certain things by talking to a spirit through a Ouija board. My friend could hear the spirit in his head. It's a long story. I have plenty of videos on it, but yes. And I could have a conversation basically with a ghost through my friend. And I've already explained in the past how I know it wasn't my friend messing with me. Anyhow. So yes, my friend could feel the energy vibrating in his hands from the crystals. I certainly couldn't. As of 2 months ago, I couldn't. But ever since this health crisis in the world and the worldwide lockdown stuff and all, since that's occurred, I've had more. I'm just going to keep things as easy to understand as possible, so I won't be as eloquent or as sophisticated in my description. So I was going to keep it more simple. I've had more energy, and it's been wild. Like by 4 in the morning, I'm rested, man. I got to get up. If I sleep till 6 a.m., that's sleeping in. So yeah. So by 4 a.m., I'm usually rested, ready to go. More energy. I'm outside. I feel my hands vibrating. I'm picturing like a heaviness. I'm intuitively talking to myself in my mind, and I'm trying to like feel the heaviness of this like vibrating energy that I can feel basically in my palms. And I'm picturing almost like there's like energy balls, right? Sean's talking about energy balls. Yeah, for sure. I really am. Can't see it, I can feel it. It felt like, yeah, like I had something weighted in my hands. Very interesting. So what did I try to do? I'm carefully moving my hands closer together so I don't drop whatever I'm holding on to. Hey, what's up, Sky? Welcome. Awesome. And I'm trying to get these like invisible like weighted balls that I'm in my hands. I'm trying to like not drop them. Anyway, I'm just doing this all like intuitively, or I'm just playing it by ear, just flying off the seat of my pants, whatever you want to call it. So I happen to like kind of get my hands a little bit closer together, and I can feel. And this is the never happened to me in this lifetime. I could feel something. Like really. If you put your hand on the wall, you feel the damn wall. If you hit a counter or you clap your hands together, you feel that. If you put your hand out of a moving vehicle and you feel the wind on your hand, you feel that. Well, I felt something. And you know what made me feel? It had my hand going closer or further from my other hand. I literally felt this impact of energy, and I was verbalizing. People outside, with the whole lockdown in the world situation, that's kind of getting slowly better at the moment, but there's not a lot of people out and about. So I don't know if anyone heard me. Maybe if they were on the patio underneath me. So I'm like verbalizing, oh my God, what the heck? I was like literally out loud, like I couldn't believe how it felt. It was nuts. Tried it again and it worked. Then I tried to like kind of move the energy, or I started to feel the energy. I could feel it, right? I could feel it. Like I had like a ball in my hand and I was rolling it. Shit's real, 100%, never happened to me. Whatever, we all have gifts, we all have abilities, and our abilities get awakened over time, whatever you want to call it, has to do with your DNA. So my specialties haven't been about seeing into the other worlds. With the Ouija board, saw a little bit of a light show once. It was amazing. I don't hear, the spirits. I don't have those connections at this time, but I've always been able to have this knowing. And then a knowing. It's like my body feels like a tuning fork, and I don't have to really process logically too much. I just can and it doesn't work all the time, and it's not like it's always gonna be right. And it's only gotten like fairly clear in the last little bit. But claircognizance or something like that. I don't like labels. I really don't. But anyway, never had this happen. I could feel the energy with my freaking hands. Nuts. It was awesome. Hey, what's up, Will? Room 33, what's up? Cool. So yeah, that was nuts. So anyway, so then I tried it again later that day. And then as I'm moving my hands together and feeling this energy touch, the light bulb went off. My logical brain, I was like trying to figure out what the heck, I was trying to like study it, analyze it, right? And the first time I was just experiencing the feeling, and it was so cool. But when I did it again, I was trying to analyze it and trying to like figure this out, right? And I'm still gonna have when people watch this video, maybe somebody who has knowledge around these matters might be able to give me some insight into what the heck that was. But here's the part that I gained some clarity on what the heck it is. I realized it felt like magnets. I felt this before, this like weird pressure, literal tangible pressure on my hands without touching, as just like if I was hitting a table. It was amazing, totally wild. But not that wild, right? Because there's just so much out there, right? But for me, as feeling able to touch it, it was really cool. And not surprising, with the energies going up and the frequency going up, we're moving closer to Ascension all the time. We're all on different timelines. The event, the Ascension, it's going to be different. There's a very good chance it's not going to be a big energy wave that's going to rock the world all at once, but it could. Yet all roads are leading to Ascension, except for a small percentage that want to experience merging with machines, and that's their free choice. Yes, that's heavy, but it's real. Yeah, when you meditate, that's cool. That's awesome. I don't meditate as much as I should, and I really should do that more. Hi, Jenna. Hey, Jen. Jenna and Jen. Jen's Gems and Jenna. What's up? Bobby Chicken. Hello. So it was really cool, that magnetic. So if you hold two magnets and they're of the same charge, positive, negative, and you move them close together, they repel. That's the virtual identical. Like if I didn't know better, my hands were two magnets and they had the same polarization. It felt like magnets. So is that a form of Reiki, like I've had done on me? I've actually done Reiki to myself without realizing, not without calling it that. When I first started putting out videos, 2015, Mandela effects just hit me hard, and I wanted to let people know, don't be afraid. This is the signs of the changes. And in 2016, Mandela effect hit a lot of people, and we're having lots of conversations all over the place. But anyway, yeah. So when I was first making videos, some of my authentic stories about these supernatural encounters, people really resonated with, and healing myself was one of them. I hit my funny bone one time. This was year 2001. Hit my funny bone super hard on the chair. I did not want to deal with that issue, because if you hit your funny bone with whatever you call it in your country, and it like tingles and it hurt and it's like it feels weird for a couple of days, I was ferociously intent to make it go away, and I did. I held it for like 30 seconds, and boom, it was nothing, gone. Then I healed my nephew. He bumped his head, and he had a welt, and I just used emotions and focus, and there was no evidence of any marks at all. Anyway, that's it. Those two. I'm not going to exaggerate. That's not what I do. So that was really cool. That energy stuff. So cool. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how, obviously, higher vibe, more centering, more groundedness, more meditation, that kind of stuff will enhance whatever it is. I'm just wondering how to utilize it. And I know that things, we become aware of different things in our path, for our path, when the time is appropriate. There's a very elaborate design. People talk about the universe as intelligent design, and I resonate with intelligent design when I think about that there's some structure in place beyond this 3D, 4D, 5D realms, the physical realm, this astral realm where the good and evil are kind of both doing their thing, and then the higher realms where it becomes unity, and then there's no duality anymore, and then beyond that, so there's like, goes on and on, right? Further than human minds can comprehend. But anyway, there's structure that's beyond all that stuff. And one of the ways you can see that structure is that certain ideas or inventions aren't thought about in humans' brains, in humans' minds, until it's time. The light bulb wasn't allowed to be discovered or invented or thought of until a certain time. And then a whole bunch of people all over the world started inventing light bulbs. And yeah, 2 people got famous, and Thomas Edison took the cake. But yeah, lots of people were inventing the light bulb all at the same time. It's been a long time, so it gets a little bit harder to find the physical evidence, but it's there. If you have people who remote view or channel, or there's different ways to do it, there's plenty that you can see. There's so many people invented the light bulb. So the idea, but the point is, it's no coincidence that a whole bunch of people all of a sudden realized, oh my God, a light bulb, all at the same time, pretty much at the same time. No, that happens all the time. Look at big inventions, and for centuries, no one thinks of it, and then all of a sudden, you got a bunch of people practically on the same damn day getting that inspiration. I learned a long time ago how thoughts, they're not in your head. You don't have them. They're not even part of you. Whatever is part of you, it's the gushy, like soft, sensitive feelings deep inside the center of your chest. That's like the part of you that's the real you. They talk about ego death, shed the ego, like all this other stuff. Yeah, there's a lot that it's like you perceptually lose. But once you get into those higher realms, you can always re-explore whatever the heck you want. Instantly, just you can view it. And then if sometimes you actually come into it and you animate the actual movie, like this physical world, and these avatar machine bodies we're in, these vehicles, race, right? These race war stuff. I'm gonna just get the vibration going to turn down just a little bit, pull a few people in, then we'll go back up. Race war is being manufactured and pushed, right? Yes, there is some of that terrible vibe, the racism stuff. And then there are also some damaged humans who are wounded and are participating in some sort of perpetuation of racial division and violence. The vast majority of all human beings on this planet Earth today have no or almost no racism type vibe in them whatsoever. The race war is a projected lie. I'm not going to say more than that on that. It's not a 100% lie. It's an absurdly extreme exaggeration of a real potent but small issue. It's a potent issue. It's potent. It's freaking bullcrap. But when you look at all the humans' hearts in the world right now, it's a very, very, very isolated issue. But there is a demonstration in the world that people's eyeballs are seeing on their TV screens that there is a big issue with this. And there's all kinds of justification for that view. Look at the news. Did you see this on fire? Did you hear what that person said? Yeah. So I've been talking about it for a long time now. Unplug from the mainstream media. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. So yeah, so there's racial stuff, right? So it's not what it looks like. Most humans are very loving right now. The vibration of the planet continues to rise. If you go back 1,000 years and you see someone beheaded in the public square, You watch it and you go home and have dinner. The criminal got beheaded in the public square 1,000 years ago in the Middle Ages. You watched it, you went home and had dinner. You might not have liked it, probably didn't bring the kids, but you and your significant other, your mate, you probably went home and had dinner. Today that happens and people would become physically ill at the thought and sight of this. Human nature has changed so much, but if you watch the news and see the message being shown, then it seems like we're screwed, and we're not. But the way the timelines work, if you believe hard enough we're screwed, you can still, even in this last second of the last minute of the last hour of the end of this story, jump into a boat where you get to merge with machines. But that's very, very rare. It would be very rare, but possible. There are people who consciously want to go that route. I'm not here to judge artificial intelligence. No. I feel so grounded and centered now. I feel connected. Before there was unity consciousness. It was a concept, but now it's a feeling. I actually feel. It doesn't mean I'm there. Unity consciousness, to me, that's like, like you're pretty much not connected to like earthly matters anymore. Yeah, I spend a lot of my energy in higher feelings or frequencies or whatever, but I'm still very connected to earthly matters. I work. It's a job I love, but I work. I have earthly stuff. Soon I'm going to be taking care of like a house. I have a lot of work ahead of me. Getting a small house, and I want to grow garden. I want to learn how to garden. So it's going to be great. Earthly matters. I didn't even mean to be so literal. It's so funny. All right. So there's a little bit in this book. I just kind of, it's not like I'm like specifically picking a certain message from the book. It's just very, it's good information. It has a good vibe. It has triggers in a good way, because the evil forces have taken good things and inverted them. So this is trigger. It's like opening or unlocking. So it's just information that might unlock something. You could conceptualize unlocking your DNA. Emotion, because it brings feeling and connects you to feeling, allows you to recognize different states of consciousness. The logical mind does not allow you to recognize states of consciousness because it holds on to its own identity. So that's good, right? So it just gives me a reminder of what needs to be shared now. So your logical mind. I've only talked about this a little bit. I probably only had 1 or 2 videos maybe in 2016 or 2017 talking about this. But your logical mind, a lot of people identify with who they are with their mind. Your mind, your brain, not your brain, but your mind, your thoughts in your head, the voice in your head. We spend a lot of time with our mind. It is such a huge part of being what we call human beings, is our minds. The issue is a lot of people over attribute who they really are to their minds. Your mind is the Robin to your Batman. The mind is the chocolate sauce on top of the ice cream. The ice cream is those feelings inside. The topping, the whipped cream on top, is your thoughts. Not the best analogy, but my point is, your mind is very dumb. My mind is very dumb. Everybody's minds are very dumb when you compare it to this heart we have. If you have a wounded heart, many people have different levels of woundedness. Sometimes living through the mind is important for survival, to get by. So the goal would be to heal the heart enough to not have to live in the mind anymore. Because when you live in the mind, it's you're susceptible to so much. Living in the heart, it's not something you can just like magically snap your fingers, but you can move in that direction. That would be my advice, because it's been years and years. I started to move in that direction in 1998, and it didn't really hit hard until lately. For me, 20 years now. The energy's changed. People are waking up and shifting in hours, days, weeks, months, not years. But I got triggered earlier, so it was like kind of seasoning over the years. And wake-ups are happening really fast. It's because of the energetics. The energetics now at post-2013 have intensified, and it continues to speed up. I've had an increase in what you would call matrix glitches. Once upon a time, I would do videos where I would, anytime a reality glitch would occur, I would let you guys know. They got to the point where it was happening frequently enough, I just stopped like notating all of them, and occasionally I would summarize a few of them on videos, and then I just kind of moved on because the reality got more interesting than that. It's just nuts, but it's awesome too. All right. No says I was gonna say most of humanity has abuse and trauma signatures in their souls from their many incarnations and current lifetime due to our being controlled. Yes, I agree with that. There's some good spiritual teachers who talk about that I've heard talk about that, the woundedness, the trauma that we have from past incarnations. Absolutely, that is a big factor. Absolutely. But we're all resolving that issue. We're being pretty much forced to resolve that issue the way the energetics are set up now. So maybe this is analogy, maybe this is literal, maybe this is blended in between. But there's an energy wave coming, and when it hits us, whatever we have yet to resolve will bubble up to the surface right away and have to be resolved. So there's energetics in play, call it synchronicities, call it coincidences. There's energetics at play to initiate your awakening through, part of your awakening is working through this stuff. Imagine that people call it blockages. It's all about this heart chakra, center of the chest. So another thing I noticed is the more connected to unity consciousness I can feel, the more sensation I have of like the heart chakra area. And also I've noticed that I can feel more gratitude, just real appreciative of things. And I can feel it like right there. It's like, yeah, it's interesting. Like it's like almost like tender. You know, like you get a bruise on your arm and you push and it's like a little bit sore, but it's not like that bad. It's not a bad kind of pain or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to describe sensations with words. Yep. So try not to get down or feel bad about what's going on in the world. There's so much good stuff to come. It's going to be an interesting ride. There are going to be still, I think it's going to get a little bit more unpredictable and a little more wild before it gets calmer. So it's going to get more chaotic before it gets calmer. This has been described in lots of ways by lots of people when it comes to this rebuilding of society. You can't build something new until you take what's there down. There's just different analogies, different descriptions of that concept. If you go to a play and you have like a theatrics and you have like act one, and then they close the curtains and they tear down act one and they build the set for act two real quick and open the curtains. If you left the curtains open the whole time and between acts 1 and 2 in a play, it's going to look like a shit show. It's going to look messy, right? Because it's always real messy before, and then it looks all pretty after. But you take the first stuff down before you build the second set. So that's what's going on in society. Set 1 is getting cleaned up, and set 2 is getting built. So it looks like a complete cluster out there. But set 2 is getting built, and if you know what set 2 is, holy shit. So maybe that's why I'm so excited. Set 2 is finally getting built. Some people don't believe. Some people think that that's like the New World Order stuff. There are timelines where that happens. Like I said, just going to be a small percentage. I don't know, 5 or 10%, something like that, who are going to go in that direction. So I've never connected strongly to religion in the traditional sense. I was raised in a not very strict, kind of like a light version of Catholicism, Christian. I was raised Christian. Went to church as a kid, not really as a teenager or an adult. Did go to CCD, catechism, whatever it is. Got my second middle name once upon a time, and then that was pretty much it. So religion isn't something I really got into for on my YouTube channel or anything. It just it was wise not to get into things that are going to trigger people and get people all arguing, right? It's changed a lot. I think religion's become easier to talk about. Some people get pretty worked up, but I think a lot of people are fairly more balanced now on religion. Politics, though, it's as bad as it's ever been. Ooh-wee, it's bad. I have always avoided politics, not just no interest, right? No interest. I was aware of the corruption. I don't trust any of them. But because it's so heated right now, a lot of people are real fired up. It actually, not much is draining my energy right now, but it is a little bit draining to be exposed to that level of conflict, especially when I'm trying to bring some voice of balance here. And positivity, authentic, not naive positivity, freaking authentic positivity. Again, Act 2 is being built right now. Whew, man. And the signs, oh my goodness gracious me. But people get so triggered, it is hard to navigate those waters. Boy, oh boy. Man, oh man. All right. So the logical mind does not allow you to recognize states of consciousness because it holds its own identity. It is locked into the boundary of ego and does not want to recognize other areas. Feeling, however, always acknowledges other areas because feeling discerns the difference. Your mind is going to put things in a box. Your feelings are going to be dynamic and open, flexible. Right? Your feelings are going to assess the situation, and then you're going to use intuition through feeling and sometimes through experience on what is your best course of action. I don't think things when I make decisions, I feel them. But that's just words. That's not super helpful. But when I read this in this book, and then it helps me understand in words a little better, stuff that sometimes I'll take for granted now that I really shouldn't. But anyway. So you can read the signs and the definitions by the energy you call feeling. It is, in actuality, a vibration. So yes, you might have heard that everything's vibration, and that's so true. That is so true. It's literally matter moving at certain rates of speed. When matter vibrates fast enough, it becomes invisible to the observer that is made up of matter that's not vibrating as quickly. That's really all that's about. The reason ghosts seem semi-transparent or invisible is because that matter in that reality that's physical to them appears translucent or invisible to us because the physical sense organs of the human body and the scientific instruments, microscopes if you will, are observing matter made of matter that's vibrating too slow to see the other matter that's vibrating too quickly. Another way to conceptualize this, you have water and it boils and it goes from a liquid to a gas, and when it becomes a gas, yes, you can see the steam. But when water vapor is in the air, in essence, it's invisible. And it's vibrating faster. If you put it in the freezer and vibrated it slower, it eventually hardens into a solid block. So that would be states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, states of consciousness. Your consciousness is your perception, your understanding or experience of your environment. And your consciousness generally has a band or range of frequencies that it can perceive itself within. Okay. Cynthia Sue Larson, Bobby Chicken, Cynthia Sue Larson found that INFP and INFJ motivation types see the Mandela effect most often. I am an INFP. What type are you? Actually, I know what type I am. That's so funny you said that. I am an ENFJ. So my girlfriend's an INFJ, and I am an ENFJ. But yes, ENFJ. I find it interesting. I haven't studied enough to give it a fair assessment. Things that have definitions and labels and boxes, I don't put a lot of stock into, but I definitely appreciate and will always be open to truth and meaningfulness of anything. Hey, Peter, thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So everything has vibration. Think of it as fingerprints. We have all the humans in the world. Everyone has a fingerprint. Everyone has fingerprints, right? Everything has a vibration. Every thought, every word, every color, every number. Imagine numbers. Each number has its own vibe. That's a good way to conceptualize having everything has a vibration. Every number, right? There is literally infinity. You can count forever. Literally forever. Hi, Dominic. Hi, Peter. You can literally count forever, and each number would have a vibration or a vibe. It's a specific signature. And then there's endless variations. So everything has a vibration. There's just different ways. It's just different ways of conceptualizing vibration. But when you talk about consciousness and moving faster, the whole consciousness, the matter that is, all right, here's another thing to think about. I'm a little all over the place, but that's okay, because when I do live streams, I'll get energy from other people, and it will kind of move the conversation around, and it's all good, So the physical matter that is what we have right now, this 3D world, you right now touching yourself, or yeah, be good. Clapping your hands or touching the wall. The physical matter of the reality you call Earth, the 3D world, the physical world, that is vibrating a little bit faster every single day. It's slowly but surely, and it's really not slowly, but this is a little bit more, a little bit easier to understand, but slowly but surely every day, this physical matter and the atoms that make up this physical matter are vibrating faster and faster. It's like someone's turning the knob up one notch higher each day, and we're vibrating faster and faster. Each human being is on their own journey, and depending on your mood, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your environment, and variables and energies, and the day based on your horoscope, all these things, all these factors are going to influence your vibe up or down a little bit that day. But the average vibe of all physical matter on Earth as one giant collective is going up every single day, more and more and more. If there was a pot of water on the stove and it was on high, the stove was on high and the cold water was getting warmer, and in a couple of minutes it's going to be boiling. When the water boils, that's like the water going from liquid to gas. When the proverbial water boils on Earth, but not in the bad way that the end of the world scenario would like, let's not talk about that, and well, we can, I'm not shying away from it, but the frequency gets high enough where this proverbial boiling happens, and that's the vibration gets high enough where there's what you would consider this event. The event would be when the vibration is high enough where everything has changed. So the vibration's getting faster and faster. Every day we're getting closer to that boiling point. If this was Celsius, we're somewhere between 99.8 and 99.9. We just got a couple little ticks to go, and then boom, we're there. This is Fahrenheit, we're at like 209 degrees, and we're getting close. Those are just analogies. We're getting close. Every day, the water gets hotter. Hey, what's up, Dominic? The Frosty. It's cool. Cool. All right. Good. All right. What else do we have? Let's see. I'm gonna skip ahead to a just different random page. Let's see. What do we got? Good. All right. Just picking something that just caught my eye. I'm not really thinking about what it's saying. Let's see. As the days begin to unfold, I don't even know what it's going to say here. They will reveal the ancient prophecies as they are coming alive. Now, this book was connected to the end times, the end of the old ways, and the ascension, and then the eventual new earth. Whether the new earth is going to be here any day now through this magical worldwide energy light wave that you can see, and that just changes everything, or it's a gradual transition, and there's going to be chaos and then beauty, and it might take months or years. As these days begin to unfold, they will reveal the ancient prophecies as they are coming alive. These ancient prophecies will be much more colorful and have their own versions of themselves as they teach this planet its greatest lessons. As you evolve, you carry what you know forward, and you share it and live it. You become a greater vessel or a greater expression of light. Through this process, you will find that over the next few years, you will be catapulted beyond the speed of light. With that, you will know. The abilities and talents and information that will come to you are simply inside of you. All right, so this was written in the 90s, channel information. It's talking about the people's abilities going online during these end times. And I'm just one part of the puzzle. We all are equal parts in the puzzle. I'm just communicating to you a little bit about my part of the puzzle. So that information I just read, I can relate to it firsthand because I'm discovering tangible abilities that were inside of me that I'm just rediscovering. And having, if you weren't here in the beginning of this video, I've recently inadvertently felt this energy in my hands. It felt like weighted energy balls, and I would push them together, and it would feel like my hands were literal magnets. It was as real and visceral as anything I could ever feel. It was just like I was hitting my hand against the wall, but it was magnets. I did this, and I can do it when I'm kind of calm and I focus on it. It's freaking amazing. Even though it's little, it's just a little thing for me, but it's amazing to feel it. Oh my goodness. I've thought about it. I've met countless people who have had these experiences. So I've experienced it vicariously through them, but to actually feel it with my own fingertips was freaking cool. You remind me a bit of Marvel's Agent Coulson, except he wasn't immortal. That's funny. It's funny. When it comes to like the Marvel movies, see, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Loved superhero movies, Superman, all that stuff. Loved it. And then about 5 years ago, I stopped liking superhero movies, and that's when most of society started to like them. That's kind of funny. But I just don't. But yes, but I appreciate the reference. I sent the link to. Oh, here she is. Hey, what's up, Helen? All right. Probably got about 20 minutes. I got to get back to my work. I work from home. Oh yeah, so I'll just say a little bit more. So I was talking about how I do. I'm a CPR instructor. I teach de-escalation strategies for mental health workers. I also teach some other classes for adult mental health professionals. So anyway, but I work from home because with the whole health situation in the world, can't really have too much face-to-face interactions, right? So going into a class with like between 5 and 20 people and teaching them in a classroom, I don't work. So I'm teaching virtually from home. It's kind of, I guess, kind of like similar to maybe like just doing online stuff like this, but it's structured for it's like a private kind of confidential, because when you talk about that sort of stuff, mental health work can involve a lot of confidential stuff. But anyway, I'm working from home on my own schedule when it comes to taking my lunch breaks. What's up, Peter? Yeah, I kind of jack of all trades. I feel a little bit like that. I just follow my passion and excitement. I got super excited about palmistry. Dived in for like 2 months, started learning a lot about it. Realized how huge the topic was. Like, holy crap! I was looking at like the topic. Woo wee! And then I just kind of moved on. And so yes, tarot cards, did that for a while. I was into astrology for a while. I was going to write a book on the sun signs at once upon a time. But nowadays it's more feeling and energetics based. The unity consciousness, it's just, it's not like a box, it's not something like it's not structured. Unity consciousness is just being, it's being present in a concept. See, there's an intellectual concept that everything is connected, all is one. It's an intellectual concept. But to feel that it's true, to feel that it's true, that's kind of that unity consciousness label. It's a word or 2 words, right? Unity consciousness. But it's a feeling of connectedness to all there is. So seeing the trees and feeling at one with the tree. When I say this out loud now, it sounds just like, I don't know, like fluffy words. It is, it's just words. Words are limiting. So it seems like a good way to get connected to that is to go within. A lot of people meditate to do that. Fire and water duality. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm an earth sign. I'm Capricorn. But I'm, depending on how unplugged you are from your earthly connections, you're less influenced by your astrological energies. So as a Capricorn, I do have that earth nature, the groundedness or stability, but it's just a little pull or a tug. And I explain to people all the time when it comes to sun signs that you can have literally hundreds of millions of one horoscope sun sign and hundreds of millions of kind of different personalities. You can find trends, of course. There's definitely themes and trends, but it's because the sun sign is an influence. It's a little push. You are who you are, and then your astrological sign will push you in that direction a little bit. Also, the maturity of your soul, if you will, a younger soul or an older soul, that sign's maturity level is going to influence greatly how it is perceived and comes across. And also, I was mentioning, I'm not too plugged into my earthly connection. I certainly am here. Don't get me wrong. But I'm unplugged enough where the influences from my astrological sun sign aren't as influential, if you will. I'm supposed to be like a somewhat negative sign. All that tells me is that if I wasn't a Capricorn, I would actually be slightly more optimistic than I already am, if that makes sense. But yes, but I'm feeling more and more water as I move more and more into the intuitive and emotional side. And yes, I connect to that fire too. It usually comes out in sports, but alrighty. Cool. Nice. Nice. All right. What do we got? As the days begin to, I already read that, didn't I? If you approach all that you know with the stance that there is divine order and divine purpose without your ego aspect comprehending it all the time. I had to learn that, to not try and comprehend everything, just to let it go. You will move rapidly through realities. There will be many different ways this galactic tidal wave of light will be experienced.
I think that's connected to, some people will see the wave tangibly, visually, and some people won't. Some people are going to need that wave for the world will wake up, and some people are going to live in a reality where everyone's waking up, but we don't need that dramatic of a wave wake up. We're all hitting ascension regardless, unless you're in that small percentage that wants to experience high levels of technology, if you will. There will be many different ways to, all right, so definitive, yeah, definitely it will catapult everyone into some exaggerated version of their greatest opportunity. Interesting. Opportunity in my like retail, where I used to be a Walmart manager, and when our boss said there was opportunities, it was like areas of improvement. So is this like inner work, dark night of the soul? Is it that's that inner working that it would be advisable to do, so when the time comes, it won't be purged so fast to the surface? And then it says that, of course, is each person's choice. Our final words include a thank you to all of you who recognize the light source that is a part of your identity, and that moves you to read this book and follow the silent whispers that echo down the golden spirals through the corridors of your own being. We honor you, we recognize you, and we are here to assist you. We are all here as a family of light to bring that choice and that freedom to evolve back onto this planet, to bring it to this place where it will shine as a portion of the living library, a new star, a new light on the horizons of many sentient worlds. We wait in the future for your past to intersect our present and catapult all of existence to a new octave, the highest octave of being. It is our great pleasure to have your assistance in this process. So that was the closing remarks in that book. It's an awesome book. If you're open to this type of information, I have lots of books. My bookshelf, bookcase, a couple hundred. Before, I mean, there wasn't much internet going on. You didn't get to Google stuff. So books were a great way to expand your consciousness, if you will. Now, if we have like 10 days of darkness and no internet for 10 days, don't be afraid. That's a good sign. Internet goes down. That's a good sign. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen now. But I got my books to read. If I got candlelight and books, right? Don't need any electronic devices to. I got plenty of books I haven't read as well. Yes. So what book? Yeah. So that is Bringers of the Dawn, Teachings from the Pleiadians. All right. It's about that time. I'm gonna probably have a couple. I'll have a couple more things. Just want to mention before moving on. So just try to enjoy your days. Don't get too worked up on duality. There is definitely energy at play on this planet right now to create division, arguments, and fighting. And there's also an equal amount of comparably profound energy, and I use profound in a kind of a relative sense, to confuse the holy hell out of people. So that's why there is so much chaos, because there is a confusion and purposefully played division. So don't connect to those things if you want to have some peacefulness. It can be addictive. The negative news, if you will, can be addictive. Let's see. I might not agree with that, as I feel the internet as a wonderful connection tool. Oh, no, Helen, what I said was, if the internet, what I was referring to is the 10 days of darkness, there is a possibility that the certain groups of people who have humanity's best interests in mind might turn the internet off for a few days to inhibit the people who don't have humanity's best interests in mind's ability to do bad things. So the good guys might turn the internet off so they can do something to help against the bad guys. Then the internet will get turned back on, something along those lines. Yeah, the internet's badass. The internet's badass. Technology isn't inherently bad, right? Definitely not. So yeah, So internet is a great connection tool. Yes, it's part of the Great Awakening. The internet was a precursor to the Great Awakening. How ironic that technology is one of the triggers to the Great Awakening that leads to human ascension on this planet. The internet is awesome. All right, I'm gonna get some more orange juice and about 5 more minutes, and then I gotta get back to my work. Yeah, Jen, it's been great connecting and sharing energy for sure. You do good. You do good stuff, Jen. You have good energy. Your intentions are top notch. All right, let me think here. All right, so just I'll give you a heads up, right? So there might be some more manipulation. Remember, I was just talking about how there's this energy to confuse and divide. So let's talk about the division. So the health crisis, the masks and the non-mask wearers. Then there's the Republicans versus the Democrats. Rioters and not rioters, and or should you loot or not loot, or is it the black people of the Black Lives Matter movement versus, and there's so much like the race, right? So white and black, so race. There was attempts to make severe food shortages. So then people were originally going to riot for food, but that didn't work out. There wasn't the food shortages didn't play out. So race riot based on some racial stuff. I'm not saying, again, if you go back earlier on this video, I was talking about the race stuff, and now that's a potent issue, but when you look at the amount of humans in the world, there's a very small amount of people who have that issue. Most human beings don't have any issue in that area, but there is a huge over-exaggeration. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about the media's portrayal of things. It gets very heavy and very tiring, quite frankly. All right. So division. So there's a couple things that might come out, including a fake alien attack. If a fake alien attack, it's an option because the technology exists to have a hologram displayed out in the sky to look like a big UFO. And then a high-tech weapon that's not known to the public, some sort of high-tech weapon that's secretly developed, plenty of them exist, would be used to blow something up or vaporize something. UFO will get blamed. People will see the UFO. People will record the UFO. People are going to flip out. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the health scare, the health crisis, the chaos of the lockdowns, and now this racial stuff, we're starting to get to the head. I think it's coming to a head. That water is getting close to boiling. When the water boils and we hit ascension, there's all that friction, all the bubbles bubbling to the surface. That's this chaos we're seeing. That's the storm. That's not being at 0 point. If you're having a lot of friction and a lot of issues with this societies right now, you want to. My advice is find ways to get more into the center or the eye of the storm. The storm will swirl around. You can be in the center, and you can be okay. So, but I just wanted to food for thought, just in case. So now, at least now you'll have cause to pause. If that ever does come to pass. There ain't no big bad aliens blowing things up. I'm going to give it to you straight. I don't care what you think about it, because it's just my understanding of it. I'm just being honest as I can, and nowadays it's important I don't hold information back. There's too many good aliens up there right now. See, they're not allowed to. If you ever watch Star Trek, there's this thing called the Prime Directive. See, you'd be shocked how much real stuff is in Star Trek. Freaking shocked. Some of you are well in the know on that. The Prime Directive is the thing. The benevolent ETs, if you will. They're not going to screw with other civilizations who are still in their earlier phases. They're not going to change the trajectory of their history directly. It's against the rules. It's against the rules. The good ETs can't come here and change things for the better. It's against the rules. And they're following those rules. The bad ETs don't have to follow those rules and don't, and can do things more directly down here. That's one of the reasons this world's been so screwed up for so long. We're getting into heavy stuff all of a sudden, aren't we? So the good ETs, something happened. Something big happened. And the good ETs are now basically have taken over the territory, if you will, but not taking it over as a conquering. It's more like you think of the dolphins circling the humans, so the sharks can't eat the humans. These are awesome. If you want a touching story, you want to really touch the dolphins. Dolphins and whales are ancient beings, far older than human souls, the most advanced, loving souls on the planet. Dolphins and whales. But anyway, they would circle the human so that the shark couldn't get it. Well, that's kind of exactly what's going on. So yeah, so a big bad alien attack like the movie Independence Day and all those other movies, predictive programming stuff. No, that shit can't happen. Not now. No. The fear of alien invasion that's been propagated is a bunch of bullshit. All right, guys, I gotta cut it, but I'll see you again. Like I said, I'll be working from home at least for a couple more months. So I'll still have some more opportunities around these hours to do this. And then after I get settled in my new place, hopefully I'll have access to like a backyard and I can do some outside recordings for the norm, hopefully, weather permitting. But anyway, that's just some ideas on the pike. Love you guys. You guys do some inner work. What does that mean? Find ways to get these emotional blocks removed. What does that mean? Identify what makes you heavy. Identify things that you perceive as a negative experience, and then find ways to fully forgive that person. You get rid of enough of those blocks, and maybe you'll start to feel tingling. You'll start to feel that tingling. I don't know. It's going to be a little different for everyone. All right, guys. I love you.